Hey, so I want to do a video talking about my personal experience on becoming a nurse, going through nursing school, and why I decided to do the CNA to LPN route versus doing going for my RN. So to begin with, I started off as a CNA. I was CNA for about 2 years before I decided to go to nursing school. And so basically I went to a technical school here in St. Louis called Applied Tech. It's really a program. It's probably the cheapest LPN program that you will go to in St. Louis. I would definitely say if you plan on going to an LPN program, make sure that it's at least under $20,000. Anything over that is just too much. Like already, I paid around $17,000. Like already that's expensive. You can get an RN degree for that, price. But let me tell you what I decided to do that route first. So to begin with, I had already went to school, and just to make a long story short, I owed the school money, so I couldn't release my transcripts or whatever at the time. So going through the technical school, they didn't ask for your transcript. So I figured, you know what, I want to make more money and I want to be able to do it quickly. I can still get financial aid. Let me just go this route. And to me, I feel like it's very beneficial to do your LPN first, but it just depends on like what position you're in your life. Like if you're coming right out of high school, you're winning. You might as well just go and do your RN, get your BSN done, just do that. But for me, I was, being a CNA, I just felt like I just wasn't making enough money and I wanted to make more money quickly. So to me, that was the best route, getting my LPN degree, as well as because a lot of these RN schools, like you have to do prerequisites, which can take you anywhere between 1 to 2 years. So that's 2 years that you're waiting. And then the waiting list, once you get done with those prerequisites, sometimes can take 2 years, just for the waiting list, just to get in the program. And then there's another 2 years just to get your associate's degree. So that's a total of 6 years, 5 to 6 years, depending on, how many classes you have to complete as far as your prerequisites and the waiting list and all that. That was 6 years of waiting just to get an associate's degree. Like I was not willing to wait that long while still being a CNA. I just couldn't see myself doing it. So for me, it was just thinking about it. It was a lot more, it was smarter to just go the LPN route. Yeah, you spend a little bit more money going that way versus going straight for your RN or straight for your BSN. But for me, I can be in school working on my RN or my BSN while making money, while working as a nurse, getting that experience. And sometimes you might realize that nursing is just not for you. Why go through all of that and then realize, look, I don't want to be a nurse? Like, it sucks. You probably think that you won't get to that point, but some people do. Like, within the first year, people just decide, I'm not going to do this anymore. And they go back to doing whatever it is that they did before, or they started a whole nother career. Things happen. So that's why I went that route, and I find it very beneficial to do that. So specifically for my school, what I had to do was you have to take a admittance exam. So it was basically math and science. Like you just get a GED book and you just study the book. So the best way to do it is take the test, take the GED test, time yourself. You have to time yourself. Only take the math section. So take the math section, time yourself doing it, whatever the amount, 55 minutes, whatever it is, do the section. Afterwards, look over your answers and see which parts of the section that you need to work on. So say for instance, you need to work on ratios or fractions, or you need to work on algebra, whatever it is you need to work on, then go back and focus on those areas, studying those areas. Then after that, after studying maybe for like 2 hours a day for about a week, take the test again. See where you get, and then if you still got areas where you need to work on those. There's so many resources out here, whether it's YouTube, just the internet in general, books, library. There's so many GED classes that you can take if you need to in order to sharpen up your skills with math. No, it wasn't math and science. It was math and English. Sharpen up your skills with math and English. Just do whatever you have to do and aim high. Like don't go in like, oh, I just finished high school, I'm just gonna go ahead and take this test, I'm gonna be able to do it. Just at least take the test and time yourself and make sure that you're confident, because why waste the money and time going for the test and not getting the score that you want to get. It makes no sense. You're wasting your time, especially at the school that I went to, because once you fail the test, you have to wait, I believe, 4 months before you can take it again. So ideally, you might be waiting like a whole other year just to get into a program, because you might go past when the program starts, as far as like your 4 months or whatever that you have to wait. So take the time, study. Now that's just for the math and the English portion, the admittance test. And there's also this test called Wonderlic. That's the name of the company. I think a lot of schools do it, but I'm not sure. It's a cognitive test. So basically it's going to test how quickly you're able to grasp concepts and then apply those concepts. So I can't think of any of the freaking questions that they had, but they even do this test with athletes as well, to see where they will rank as far as like what position they should play in. And it also shows how teachable you are. So sometimes if you get too high of a score, that's not seen as good as well. I mean, I know like in athletics it's not seen as good because you might not be coachable. But anyways, so it's Wonderlic. It's a cognitive test, and it's 12 minutes. You have to answer 40 questions in 12 minutes. Of course, more than likely you're not going to answer 40 questions in 12 minutes. At the school I went to, you had to at least get 18 questions right. So you had to get at least 18 questions right, no matter what you got on the math and English. You could have got the highest scores possible on the math and English, but if you didn't get at least 18 questions right on the cognitive, you failed. So that's another test. I don't know specifically for the school that you're going for, but if you're looking to go to the school that I went to here in St. Louis, Applied Tech, then definitely look up that test. Just Google Wonderlic cognitive test, sample test, whatever. Time yourself with anything, whatever school you're going to, in St. Louis, wherever. If there's a test that you have to take, look up that test, look up sample tests of that, time yourself doing it, and just really test yourself and make sure you're able to do it. Because of course you'll be able to do it if you have 3 hours, but if you only have a short amount of time to get it done, some people they kind of freeze with that. So you need to time yourself and be strict about it. So that's what you had to do to get in. And then you had to do like a background test and a drug test. And you also had to do background, drug, and get like a few referrals. So I got some referrals from my job. Some nurses I worked with, and like one of my nurse educators at my job, and the HR department, she wrote all of my recommendations. So that's good. So it's good if you're working in the facility. Make sure you're in good standing with people in the facility. If you want to use them as references, it's so important. With going to nursing school or anything that you want to do, try to just have a good reputation and a good rapport with people, because you never know when you're going to need them, really, no matter where you're at in life. Also, what I had to do was just some things to get you prepared before you go into school. So it's really important to make sure all your finances are, taken care of. Might not be perfect, but at least try to have some money set aside, or try to, if there's issues with your car, get your car the way it needs to be, because if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen while you're in nursing school. Everything we had, unfortunately, people lost, a parent during nursing school, or they gave birth, or they got pregnant, or they lost a child during nursing school, or so much happens. You break up, you meet somebody, it's just some crazy stuff happens while you're trying to get your life where you want it to be. It just happens. So you want to try to be as prepared as possible. It just so happened that when I started school, it was like in March, and it was like around tax season. So I made sure that I bought like all the stuff that you need in your house, like toilet paper and, just random stuff, soap and, toiletries, all that stuff that you have to go out and waste time going to go get, or you forgot to get it, and just the stuff, the mundane things that's day-to-day life that kind of like take up your time. Just try to get that together before you start school. So if you got to stock up on food, if you got to, whatever you got to do, if you got to come up with meal plans, if you got to get like a backup babysitter, or tell people in your family, look, I'm going to school, I'm gonna need you to help me with this X, Y, and Z. Will you be able to get the kids whenever this happens, or whatever the case may be. Just try to be as prepared as possible, because it's extremely stressful, and they make it stressful because they want only certain people to be able to get through the program. They make it stressful for a reason. Because if you're not able to cut it going through there, then they figure, okay, you're not going to be able to cut it in the actual working world, even though in the working world it's a lot less stressful. But then again, it's still pretty stressful all the way around. So they want to make sure that you're actually prepared for it and that you're willing to work for it and you're dedicated and you're focused. So that's that. So that's why I decided to go the LPN route. You make more money while you're in school. It takes less time. Yeah, it costs a little bit more money, but hey, you're a nurse. I'm a nurse, and if anything happens, if I get pregnant or whatever the case, I want to move, at least I have that foundation of being a nurse, you know, that I can kind of stand on. I have a career versus me being in school struggling for years and years and years, and then finally getting to that point. Just me where I was at in life, it just wasn't, it wasn't cutting it. I had to become a nurse. And so really, I feel like being an LPN or going through technical school to be an LPN is like one of the careers that you can go through and come out pretty much doubling your salary. That's pretty much what I did in 1 year. So I count it as a blessing, and I definitely feel like, you know, if you're debating should I go LPN or RN and you're in a position kind of similar to where I was at, go LPN. You know, just try not to spend too much money. Some programs, they charge you like $30-some thousand. No. And it's a place here in St. Louis that does that. And there's no entrance exam. I just let you come in. And it's a reason why it's not an entrance exam, because the standard of students that they have, they just want you to come in and get your money. Like, that's all it is. For real. So that's just my opinion. So that's all I have to say. If you have any questions, comments, let me know. Don't forget to hit that red subscribe button, and thanks for watching. Peace.